Welcome to Faith on Tap, a podcast where we go out to the wilds of local breweries and talk to you about, thoughts and various topics that are important to all of us. We are at Brass Works, a brewing company in Waterbury, Connecticut, our first time here. And to my pleasant surprise, they had 2 porters and a stout. Very shocking. It was fantastic. And I ended up with a coconut stout, which was actually fairly good. I'll give an 8 out of 10 out of that. And what would you think, Liz?
I had the coconut as well. I am now moving on to the cranberry seltzer.
And I moved to the Able Porter, which was...
Wait, you had a porter?
This is a porter, yes. And it's very, very good. It's a...
Mr. IPA had a porter?
No. I love porter.
Who are you?
Yes, I know.
So we came in early. We didn't have time to do the pre. So we already had the interview, so we're not going to talk about that. But the question we asked the kids, what is true love to you? What does it mean? So I already know we had some good comments. Everyone happy? Did you have good interviews?
Yes. I loved my interview, yeah.
We'll be talking about that soon, so let's go.
Okay, I'm Liz. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
And your name is?
Mary.
Mary. Okay, great. It's a beautiful name. I have a couple friends named Mary. So I have a couple questions for you. So my first question is, what does true love mean to you?
Wow. Never thinking about leaving.
So you mentioned right before we started recording that you were married.
Yes.
So tell me, how long have you been married?
42 years.
Same as us.
42.
Yes. We're going to be 43 this year.
Wow.
So that's cool. Oh my goodness. When you say never think about leaving, so how does that manifest? What does that look like in your...
Always talking honestly, clearly. Yeah, I might say something that he doesn't like or vice versa, but we talk about it.
You don't seem like that you have angry fights. You probably have discussions.
Yeah, a lot of discussions.
But you work it out.
Yep.
And what do you think your significant other would say as far as...
He probably wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, we talk.
That's so sweet. Well, thank you very much for answering my question about true love. Do you want to add anything else that you would like to? Because there's a lot of people out there that are hesitant about getting married now.
Oh.
And here we are. We've been between your husband, yourself, and me and my husband.
Well, we didn't get married young.
Right.
I mean, I was 27. My husband was 34. So we certainly thought about it before we were...
So a lot of people aren't even getting married now until their 30s, and sometimes, so they're not having children until they're well into their 30s.
Right.
What do you think might account for this? Do you think it has to do with true love at all, or do you think there's something else going on?
Oh, it's hard to say. You know, dating is different. Everything is so different than it was 40 years ago. Yeah. You know, you still had to call people up on the phone to contact them and all that. There was no texting.
No, it wasn't even...
No.
It was science fiction back then.
There you go. Yes, I think communication is totally different now than it was back then.
That is so true. And do you think it's getting in the way of proper communication between...
Yeah, I think so. And just the way we get out, you know, COVID, everybody started working from home or whatever the case.
So
there's that element too. And
well,
I don't mean to be deep in this.
Oh, no, please. The deeper, the better. It's awesome. I love it. Mary, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you about true love.
And we're here with, who am I speaking to?
Brian.
You want to talk in the mic a little bit closer?
Brian.
All right. So we have a question for you. The first question we have for you is, in your opinion, what is true love?
Well, okay. True love, I mean, there's many different kinds of love, right? There's eros, so there's filial, and there's agape. So I guess the real question would be
you're
more...
speaking in Greek now, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I guess I am. I don't mean to. But I mean, one's brotherly love, one's like, physical love, and one's, more like a sacrificial love. I guess we're talking about sacrificial love, whereas true love is something that's very hard to do because it's usually inconvenient for someone that you don't really like, but it's the right thing to do, and you go out of your way to do something for, let's say it's raining out and you got to go somewhere. You see someone with a flat tire, happens to be someone who's you don't even like, but you know they need help. And that would be, I think, an example of true love of, of your neighbor, and something like that.
Okay, so just to interrupt you a little bit. So you're saying true love right now, in your opinion, you're talking about sacrificial love.
I am. And that is sacrificial love.
And true love in that sense would be helping people no matter what the cost.
Right. You're giving of yourself in a time that is, inconvenient or whatever. I mean, because if it's easy, as the Bible kind of says, even sinners hang out, help their sinners, help their own kind.
And you're married. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So do you express true love to your wife the same way?
Well, that's a different definition of love. Definition of love for us, I would say for me, is it's really on a day-to-day basis of knowing what the other person's needs are. And true love is, I think you don't have to say anything. You do it and you fill each other. You really do become one, and you're not two individuals. You work as a team and you are stronger as one. That doesn't mean you run around the house saying, I love you all the time, which of course I do. Well, maybe not. But it's knowing the other person's needs, whatever they may be, and, and filling in those voids. And I think it goes the same way on the other way around.
Well, it sounds like that's sacrificial love as well.
It is. But in one instance, you're doing it for someone you love, as opposed to doing for someone you may not care for.
So true love, in your sense, has to deal with loving someone regardless of their worth to you. It's just and you're doing it for what reason? What's the purpose of doing the sacrificial love?
I mean, if you want to go all the way to the end goal, we all want to go to heaven. Okay. We're kind of like if starting that as your end goal, you work your way back. That would be one of the things that Jesus would require of us to do. Love your enemies. We're told many times, love your enemies. It's not just words. You have to actually do it. And it's not easy. And I'm not good at it. That's, and it's a lot easier, obviously, if you see someone getting hurt. Okay. Now, I think that it just makes it a little easier for a shot. No, you should help out the people that could really use a hand. Now, would I do it? I don't know. I've been thinking more and more about myself, the way I react on things like that. And I hope I'm getting better at it because, to be honest with you, I'm not good at that. That's not my strong suit. I know that that the first step is like an alcoholism. First step is realize that you're an alcoholic. Well, first step for me is realize that I don't do what I should be doing. Yeah. Let's go to the second step, work on the second step after that.
Well, I think you answered that rather profoundly. That was awesome. Thank you.
So I'm talking with
Joy,
and who is going to have the microphone a lot closer. So our question tonight is, how would you define true love?
Okay. I would define true love as being totally devoted to the other person, in that you're happy for whatever. You're happy for their failures, or you're happy for their successes, and that you're there for them through thick and thin, and you love them with all of your heart and soul.
And is this your life now?
Yes.
Well, that's lovely. I'm very happy to hear that. So is there any other manifestation? Like we were just talking to someone earlier who went on and on and on and on about his versions of different love. Do you parse it as cleanly as he might, of different types of love?
Well, I guess true love to me is loving someone with all of your heart and soul, and knowing that person is the right person for you, for your lifetime and your true love. So in the sense of the words true love, that's what I think.
So that's where so
that's
you're
what I
laser focused on that, which is beautiful. Okay,
obviously love of neighbor, and that to me is in a different category.
Great. Okay. That clarifies. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have one more follow-up because I know that you believe in God, and where does true love fit in with your relationship with God? How does God show true love to you, or how would you show true love to him?
Well, true love to God is, honoring him and, and praying. I pray the rosary every day. I say my prayers, and I've gone through my entire life, talking to God one-on-one.
Awesome.
That to me is having a connection with God.
And part of the connection is true love, right? The more connected you are with someone, the more you're able to love someone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. Very good. And we're back. To my right of me, I have my lovely wife, Liz. What's going down?
Oh, gravity. It's winning today.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Well, as a retired physics teacher, you should know that.
Yeah.
Does it ever really lose?
Not on purpose. And to the left of me, I have the Fount of Faith. The Fount of Faith.
Define fount.
Where it emanates from.
I'm gonna be part-time fount of faith.
You're okay with it.
Because sometimes I am the fount of faith and other times I need a fount of faith.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right, so we were just asking people, what does true love really mean to you? And we asked this question in a very vague way on purpose, just to see where people would take it. I talked to Brian when he was talking about true love. He just brought it. He's a Christian, and he brought it right to sacrificial love. He was talking about, I guess you would say that romantic love or spiritual life, or even life with strangers, is all about sacrificing. If you're making a sacrifice, it's showing your love. And I thought that was interesting. Liz, you talked to Joy.
I did. And she was focusing more on because of the way that it was phrased, true love, she was putting it into a relationship between a man and woman. She was not thinking the agape world reaching like Brian was. And so,
but she said something that was,
Joy was talking about
joy,
just being happy for other people when they're going through good times, and grieving with them in the bad times, and basically giving your heart and soul. I thought it was pretty cool.
And for those of you who have met Joy, you will know that she lives this, she walks this.
And then you had the honor of talking to Mary.
She was sitting alone, and I'm like, okay, she's sitting there, but she has a big plate of cookies, so she definitely, she's expecting someone.
She's my people.
No, I was just like, I better talk to her before whoever is eating the cookies shows up. So I went over and talked with her, and so I asked her the question, and me and Mark, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, but share the same years of marriage.
Yes. So that puts her 7 years older than me. And so her thing was that true love means never thinking about leaving. And so she was like, yeah, I'm in for the long haul. And she's been married for 42 years. And so
the simplicity of that was, I was like, wow, that's okay.
Yeah. And the way she talked about her husband who wasn't there was just, it revealed that this was just a truism for her. This is just how she lived her life with her husband. So it was really sweet. She did start following us on Facebook. So
did she?
Y'all can do that.
So
fantastic.
There we go. So, we asked this question with Valentine's Day approaching. We thought it'd be fitting to talk about love, or in this specific question, true love. And, when I was preparing, which is always a challenging part of the podcast, is like, what am I going to say about true love that's not already been said a million times before? So I said, well, I looked at some philosophers.
You didn't go to the Hallmark Channel?
I did not. I did not see how the guy in the flannel suit beat the guy with the regular
shallow
suit. Yeah.
Can you be?
Very much so. So Aristotle said, he said, true love is wishing good for the others for their own sake, not for personal gain. And Erich Fromm, he called love an act of will, judgment, intention, and promise, a deliberate choice to care, respect, and support. And he cannot disagree with that. And then Thomas Aquinas, he simply said that true love is to will the good of another. So in that sense, it is sacrificial. All this types of love has less to do with you and more to do with your view of the other person. Any comments on that? I mean, I guess here's a question I have for you before we ask the question. So from Aristotle to Aquinas, these philosophers state that true love for another translates to you to do good things to happen to other people in your life, even if it's a cost to you. Do you tend to agree with that?
Yes. I was interested, especially from Joy and her husband, which was Brian. Being of the Christian perspective, they went right with a human relational true love, where I was thinking true love begins with God. True love begins with Romans 5:8 that says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And though it reflects all of the nuances of what everybody says, sacrificial and giving of yourself and all that, it really starts with God. God demonstrated what true love really was through Jesus. And if we just look at love as being very linear with humanity, we're going to be really disappointed, because people aren't going to love us as much as we deserve to be loved or think we deserve to be loved, and we're not going to love people the way they deserve to be loved. And so if we're looking for love to complete and or finish us, and from a human perspective and missing God's, we'll come up short every time.
Oh, amen to that. It's like, yeah, it's a high bar, and that's why we need God to give us the ability to have that love in our hearts.
Right. As imperfect as it is, it still finds itself in the perfection of Christ's love for us, for humanity. For God so loved the world.
I'm not going to be cliche, and I'm not going to, because
isn't that cliche?
No. What I'm about to
say.
Not
going to cliche.
No, not at all. Because when you talk about love, one is drawn towards the language of love, and the podcast audience could care less how we personally view that. But I'm going to make the connection. So to refresh everyone's memory, before I get to the question, the language of love is how you personally show love towards others, and there's words of affirmation. Are you the type of person to say, I love you, to say nice things? Or are you more of an active service person? Are you someone who thinks actions speak louder than words? Therefore, you'd rather help people and do things that are nice? Are you a person who likes to give gifts to show your appreciation? Are you a person that rather show that you're going to give your time to that person? And then there's the physical touch. Whether that be non-sexual or sexual, the idea of holding hands, kissing, cuddling, whatever. So
Did you say cuddling?
Yes, that's what the definition is. Sorry, I was not showing love to you after that. So
that's right. I have a counselor meeting tomorrow. So I'm okay, my therapist.
So what I thought I would ask about that is that this is how we show love to others. Do you think the way we show love to others translates our relationship with God and how we show love to God? Are we someone who just like saying, and I'm not just is a loaded word. Are you a person who likes saying words to show your love? Are you the type of person who'd rather show your action of your love towards God? Do you think there's a translation of how you treat others and how you focus your love and worship to God? Is it similar?
That whole idea of love language always fascinated me, because there's these progressions of how we show love to others, but there's the flip side of that, where how we receive love. And so if I'm loving my wife with physical touch and she is an acts of service receiver of love, I'm going to fall short. And I'm going to miss the mark because I'm not loving her in the way where she's receiving it. Same for me if I'm different from what she's expressing. So I have found that the way that we receive love, the way that we feel love, is the way that we want to express it. And it's not always the way people receive it. Now, in the context of God, we like to make all these different ways of loving God, but the Bible is very clear on how to love God. Here's you love by being obedient. You love by following in his ways, and anything else that kind of disrupts from that, your feelings or what you think, really falls very short in your expression. So you can express love for God in the wrong way, just like I can express love for my wife in the wrong way where she's not really receiving it.
So what would be an example of expressing love the wrong way to God?
God, I love you. I'm going to church but I want to have an affair on my wife
Well, how's that?
because
How is that love
you-
language?
well, because you want me to be fulfilled. You want me to have a good life. You want me to have this love that I'm not getting from my wife, and so I'm going to go look for it from someone else. And so and unfortunately, I've come across that more times than I care to admit.
Well, this doesn't seem like a love language to God, though. I'm saying it just seems like
Well-
someone's just justifying what they're doing.
What would your love language be to God?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I'm always a person of showing stuff by doing stuff. So I would like to show God by performing acts of love to others,
Mhm.
acts of love to God. But there would be more because I personally, I've seen guys take advantage of women by saying these things. Oh, your hair looks gorgeous, or whatever, and they don't mean anything by it, but they're just
Mhm.
words. So I see it being effective too, which hurts. But my point is that I don't want to fall off the trap. I mean, there's a time of worship I have for God where I do proclaim and thank Him for stuff, but I also want to follow up with that by showing, giving my time and showing action to God. So that's what I meant by that. And I was wondering whether you thought.
Well, yes, but that giving yourself over in the wrong way as a supposed act of love, is that really an act of love? So you're a Christian man who has read the Bible how many times? So you understand how to come to God and love Him. And so when just because someone says I love God, but I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the other thing, doesn't necessarily mean they love God.
Well, I agree, but you show God that you love Him, and
Personally.
well, I mean, or you see people. I mean, I'm saying not just being deceitful or not just saying one thing and meaning another to God. That's just being deceitful and lying to yourself.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about honestly seeking God and saying, Jesus, I love you, and I'm going to show my love for you by doing A, B, C, or what have you.
Mhm.
So I was just curious, how you show love to others. Is that how you show love to God personally?
If you're talking about, how you're supposed to love Jesus, and he talks to Peter after Peter screwed up royally. He says, "Do you love me?" And he says, "Yeah, I love you." And Jesus says, "Well, feed my lambs." So there's one thing. You're just saying that you love me. No, you feed my lambs and you take care of my sheep and then you feed my sheep. So that's what
Those are all actions.
those were they're very clear. They might been more directly just for Peter, but just to, clearly God's going to give you some directive. No one has that unique position that Peter had, but it's going to be true for a lot of people that this is what he wants. But it can manifest in different ways. There's at our church, if you haven't been there, and after church, there's this beautiful buffet that everyone can participate in, and that's a very literal idea of feed my sheep. But it's not just feeding the people's bodies. It's building community, and so people can serve and belong and all that good stuff, right, Dennis?
And part of that reflects our love for God.
Yes. I mean, they're doing something with a gift and a
She
heart.
started with her. Good grief, I blew it.
Oh, so yeah. So all right. So now that you had a chance, do you personally, Dennis, the way you show love to others, do you show your love to God in the same way or different ways?
Well, I think it's a circular motion where when I love people from a biblical point of perspective, love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't boast, all those la-di-da coffee mug sayings, then I'm loving God. And when I'm loving God, that means that I'm loving people because you can't separate the two. So yes,
So at the end of the day, if God was to say, "How did you love me today?" The examples that you would show would be how you loved others.
I would, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it would feel good to say, well, I prayed for 20 minutes and I read your word, which is all good, believe me, but rubber needs to meet the road.
The application.
Application.
All right, well, and the same question now when we treat other people that we maybe not be friends with, but just meet talking to a cashier or what have you. Do you think the way that we show love to, say, someone close to us is the same way we show love to strangers? You mean another? So I'm trying to think, does the way that we take in love, the way that we express love to someone close to us, do you think that's universal, the way we show it to God? Is it how we show it to others? And personally, for me, I think I do. I mean, I enjoy helping people, and because that's an action thing. And I think that's showing my love for the fellow man by even listening and actually really listening, or if they ask for something, to actually just do it. I mean, I'm not the type of person that says, as a person, I just love you who you are. I just that's not who I am. But I'd rather show my love by look what I'm doing for you. Hey, how great I am. But I'm expressing my appreciation for you by doing A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
So I
think it's a heart condition, really, because when you love somebody that's close to you, you're pouring out a deeper intimacy of love. But you can still love the guy on the street corner that's looking for a sandwich today, and
right.
and it's the same love,
right?
It would be great if you can invite him into your home and take him in and set him up with a job. But your heart says, I'm going to be Jesus today. I'm going to be Jesus to my family. And that's a deeper Jesus, because that's a deeper intimacy. It's a deeper perspective. And then there's Jesus to the guy on the street corner that's looking for a meal. You can be Jesus to him in the same velocity or intensity as your family. I don't think it's any different from a heart perspective where you're looking to serve.
All right. And then if we get a little bit more meta and talk about, as a society, we were given the ability to love others for whatever reason. If you're an atheist, you'd say it's a biological reason for survival, what have you. But I guess, do you think that we as a society could actually exist if we did not have love for others? Could we actually be a living community, a group of people in a town or in a gathering, if we did not have this love for other people?
So completely absent would be love of other people. That's
right.
The scenario.
Say that. I mean, the idea of love is like, I don't even know where it came from, but because
that's called the movie The Purge in that series.
Okay,
where you just go and kill people because you just are aggravated with them. Yeah, I think love for our neighbor, love for our fellow human being, no matter how shallow it is, maintains a societal stabilization. I mean, that's what keeps society. And I don't know if you can call it something different, but yeah, love for your neighbor sustains us.
So, okay, then the follow-up question would say the same thing then. If we did not have love for others, we would not have a civilization. But I'm thinking maybe like bees. Bees don't love each other, but they have a colony and it makes it work.
But they work in correlation with one another.
Oh, just so people do too. I mean, they have different responsibilities.
That keep them. They're bonded through chemistry.
And we are to an extent as well.
Would that be the reflection of love?
I think it's part of the story, to be honest. I mean, humans have pheromones.
Mm-hmm.
That's no secret.
Yeah. And they're chemical reactions that make us do stuff. So I couldn't say this bee loves this other bee, yet they exist as a colony. And it works.
So
I would actually be as someone who tinkers in biology. I would say that the pheromone is definitely lovish, and they are going purely on emotion.
So from a scientific perspective, from the both of you, is love a biological response, and with all the other components to it?
When you're talking about basic critters, that don't have a thought process, then I think they have to be driven largely through emotions.
Emotions.
Yeah. And feelings. And it's not, they're, I can't stand it when people say, "Oh, that bird chose the other bird because she knew that he would be able to produce strong offspring." No, she thought his song was hot. And his dance was super sexy.
He had that one feather
Seriously,
tucked back.
when people say, "Oh no, it's just they're driven by," no, they're not. She thinks he's a hottie.
Basic biology.
That's it. And it drives me crazy when people
so
try
we
to
can differentiate attraction from love. Can we?
I think we can.
Yeah.
But
from
but
a scientific perspective.
I think we can. Yeah.
I mean, I would say, yeah, you could be attracted to someone, but you can have lust after someone as well, but that's not love. And I think love is a lot more complicated than that, than just, I won't be graphic here, but love is more than I'm attracted to that thing and I want to have offspring with that thing versus I have love for that person because Jesus' love for me and how his love for me can emanate from me to others in different ways.
So but from somebody who raises goats, and so these goats are kind of prone to biological reproduction. You get the male and the female and things happen. But then I've heard you say over the course of years, she's a good mama.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a good mama.
Correct.
And so is that a semblance of love, like these animals who are basically a biological function of reproduction? They're actually loving their offspring, or is it something different?
I think poor Boomer, she was a great girl, but she was a terrible, but she did not like being a mom right away. So we had to force the issue and made her stay in a stall with her babies for 2 solid weeks with no options, because when we didn't do that, off she went. And the only boy she ever loved was Apollo. And she
legit.
Legit. She loved Apollo. She'd be introduced to other guys and she'd
There's definitely a bonding that exists.
Yeah, she was crazy about him. And so her heart belonged to Apollo.
But I have to believe that an animal's love for another animal is different than a human's love for another human. I think it's a lot more complicated and there's a lot more depth to it.
But could it be the same starting point?
But an animal's capacity to love, I mean, just as can a mosquito love another mosquito? Can bacteria love another bacteria? Can a mosquito love? And as you go up to the
reach.
And as you go up the chain of intelligence, I think the love becomes more pronounced. But I do think that we have the Spirit of God with the Imago Dei in us, which means we have the capacity to love even more through,
or dare I say, supernaturally.
Yeah, well, that would be if we're the image of God, that's supernatural. So absolutely, we would have the way to love beyond our actual means of loving. My capability of loving as just a human is extremely limited. I like you or I don't like you, case closed. Where the Spirit of the Holy Spirit working in me would see things differently. So yeah, I would say that's supernatural.
Yep.
I guess on that note, we will conclude our True Love podcast.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. Tune in next episode when you'll hear Dennis say,
I crawled out of the pond. I probably should be punched in the mouth.